What am I going to do? You don't want to hold it? Hold the Wheaties basket? All right, we're going to do 3. What about the little extras? So we got 5 extra bags, so we'll do a couple more of those. She did? Yes. Yeah, so we got extra goodies to give away. Dun, 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 dun. Should, no. Oh, okay. You know her ticket now. Okay, 554267. Yes, sorry. What's your number? Tell me your number and I'll pick it. Ringy dingy dingy. Sorry. 554300. Yay. Okay. 554344. Going once, going twice. 554344. Okay, never mind. We'll do it.
It's the winning one, whatever you call it.
All right, that's a dud. I think we're just going to give her a gift. Okay, that's a dud then. Lord, give me her ticket. 554309. Thank you. That was a godsend right there. That was a godsend. Because I asked and I received. I asked and received. Whoops. All right. 554349. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. So that was. We got one more. Yeah. 2. We'll do 2 more. Let's be wild and do 2 more. Give me that. All right. 554261. Oh darn, a dud. Five 4306. Ring a dingy. Last one. 554332. Yay! All right. Y'all ready? Okay. All right, we're going to do a little music, and then Michael Ashley will come and speak, and then we will close out and do the rest of our door prizes. And the table in the back, Sharon, is that the little gift at the back? Okay, there is a table. Grab them on the way out? Okay. So, cool. All right. Take it away.
All right, this next song that we're going to do, it reminds us that Jesus promises to walk with us through all the storms of life. He met the disciples on the water in the middle of the night in a dark and stormy waters, and he was walking on the water. So he promises to walk with us on the water and keep us above it too. As I kneel in the darkness, in the middle of the night, I'm praying for assurance, everything's gonna be alright. Lord, I see another battle out in front of me. I'm afraid I won't be able, and I'll go down in defeat. He said, I walked on the water, I calmed the raging sea. I spoke to the wind, it hushed and I gave you peace. Didn't I run to your rescue? I heard you when you called. I walked right beside you, just so you wouldn't fall. Didn't I leave all of heaven just to die for your sin? I searched until I found you, and I do it all again. He said, do you remember where I brought you from? Just take a look behind you at just how far you've come. And every time you've asked me, didn't I deliver you? So why would you be thinking that I wouldn't see you through? Didn't I walk on the water? I calmed the raging sea. I spoke to the wind, it hushed and I gave you peace. Didn't I run to your rescue? I heard you when you called. I walked right beside you, just so you wouldn't fall. Didn't I leave all of heaven just to die for your sin? I searched until I found you, and I do it all again. Now she's talking to her father in a house that was a home. Says my bills are coming due, Lord, 6 days just ain't that long. She heard a voice so still and low, said I've moved like that before. I'll do this little thing for you, and I'll give you so much more. Didn't I walk on the water? I calmed the raging sea. I spoke to the wind, it hushed and I gave you peace. Didn't I run to your rescue? I heard you when you called. I walked right beside you, just so you wouldn't fall. Didn't I leave all of heaven just to die for your sin? I searched until I found you, and I do it all again.
Girls, y'all have a beautiful, beautiful voice. What a blessing. So, I get real nervous when I get out in front of people. But I have found that if I pray and give it all to Him, it kind of goes away. So, if y'all don't mind, let's bow in prayer. Lord, I just pause for just a minute, Lord, and I thank you. And I thank you for this place, Lord, that you've given us to come together in fellowship, Lord. And Lord, I just thank you for how you love us. And so, Lord, as I try to share your story, please just move me out of the way. Let me only say what you would have me to say. Lord, open our hearts and our minds to what you want us to hear, and then help us to apply that to our lives. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. So, and I'm ADHD, so I'm going to tell y'all right now, I will not stand right here. Like, it ain't going to happen. And if I try to stand still, it's like I can't talk. It's like, you know what I mean? So I'm going to move around, okay? So y'all just keep up with me, okay? So the first thing, and there's stuff behind me too. Y'all set me up for failure today. I'm just saying. So I do want to tell her, because she said Isaiah 40:31. Woo, that verse. So one day we were at a bikers thing. Yes, I ride. Okay. So we were at this bikers thing, and they asked me, would I share the devotion for all the bikers, right? That's pretty intimidating, so you know. But I'm willing to make a fool of myself to glorify God, okay? And so we oh look, you about to hook a sister up. Hey,
There you go.
outstanding, thank you. So we were out there, and I was sitting by the river, and I was looking at that verse. And I'm very visual learner. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about the verse, and I'm thinking about the verse, and I'm thinking about eagles. And all of a sudden, I see this duck come up to the river, right? And I'm watching him, and he goes to get in the river. And as he's going to get in the river, he's like, neck out, wings, everything. And he's going, and he jumps in the water, right? And I was like, wow, okay. But then I got to thinking about an eagle, okay? And an eagle doesn't do that. An eagle will stand up on the high spot, and he will just stand there with his wings out, and he waits on the spirit or the wind to blow, right? And so he's like, oh, that ain't the one. That ain't the one either. And then he'll take off. And he's waiting on the wind, the right amount of wind to catch under his wings and then lift him up, and he doesn't have to work for it. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, whoa, ain't that like us? I am so the duck. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do it, and I want to do it right now. I want to do, and like I'm not waiting on God. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like that duck. You know what I'm saying? But if you'll know this, the reason that verse is so beautiful is because when it talks about the wind is the Holy Spirit. And if we sit there and we wait until He's ready, He will take us out, and we ain't got to work for it. Woo! Ain't that something? Look, that's God too, because I ain't that smart. But it was powerful for me. And I shared that with that group of bikers, and I'm going to tell you, some of them was crying. They were praising the Lord. And I know that God gave me that. And so as I'm sharing this morning, I want y'all, please, to talk to me. I want to hear you. I want to know that you're out there. She screamed for that gift. So I know that it's in this room, okay? So I expect some replies, okay? Because that encourages me and lets me know to go. So the verses, Isaiah 61, 1-7, and this scripture offers a message of hope and transformation. It is a promise from God that He can and will bring good from our past circumstances. So that's what Isaiah 61, 1-7 is. But I told y'all I was ADHD. I'm that way studying the Bible too. And so I'm reading Isaiah 61, and then I go backwards a little bit, and I'm reading Isaiah 60. And I'm like, whoa, bruh. Like, Isaiah 60 says that God can turn our trials and failures and hurts into our life's message in order to bring him glory. And so today what I want to do is I want to share scripture with you, but at the same time I want to tell you what my life's message ended up being because of his goodness. So we will read Isaiah 61, 1 through 5. And it says, "The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring good tidings to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to console those who mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified." Verse 4 goes on to say that they will rebuild the ruins. They shall raise up the former desolations. They shall repair the ruined cities. You hear that? We're going to talk about that a little bit. Isaiah 61 through 5 says, "Arise and shine, for your light has come. The glory of the Lord is risen upon you. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and deep darkness the people. But the Lord will rise over you, and his glory will be seen upon you. The Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around and see. They all gather together and come to you. Your sons shall come afar. Your daughters shall be nursed at your side. Then you will see and become radiant, and your heart shall swell with joy, because the abundance of the sea shall be turned to you." So let's talk about that, okay? So, how do we allow God to take our stuff? How do we do that? These scriptures right here actually answered that question. The first thing that it tells us is we got to give up the ashes. We have got to come out of our past into our present. And so my past was that, again, I was born ADHD and very different, okay? For goodness sakes, my mom and daddy named me Michael, okay? I had issues, okay? I was such a tomboy. I was so ADHD. I felt so different from everyone. I would be in church, and you know how pastors' pals, oh, they're so sweet. And they come forward, and they're in the little dresses or whatever. Not me. Not me. I was not sweet. I was not cute. I punched a little girl in the face during pastor's pals. I'm just telling you. And we have no idea why to this day. But that feeling, that difference, that whatever that I had, I felt so insecure about it. And so when I would go to church, all the other little girls were cute, and they were wearing dresses, and they were girly, and they were all that, and I was not, and I did not belong there. And then I would get in trouble, of course, because that was before there was any kind of like, you know, ADHD, ADD, all that. It was way before that, and so I would get in trouble because my daddy said I was being bad. And so I can remember not wanting to go to church because I felt like I didn't belong in church. So we rode horses, and on the weekends we would go to the sale on Highway 8 in Williamston. And so Daddy would be in the sale. He'd be looking at horses, thinking about buying or whatever, and I would be outside because, see, the guys that came to the sales had beer in their back of their trucks. And so I would be out there stealing beer out of these people's trucks. Well, they thought I was cute. They thought I was funny because they were drunk. And so here, oh, this little girl, she's funny, right? And so I became an alcoholic in elementary school. Those are the people that I felt like I belonged with because I felt normal around them. But what I didn't realize is that wasn't normal. You know what I'm saying? And so alcohol in elementary school, pot in middle school. I was actually doing hard drugs in high school. With all of that comes promiscuity. So I too got married at 16 and ended up having my son. And so for a little while, I was like, okay, so I want to do better because I wanted to be a good mom. I knew what a good mom looked like. And I wanted to be that. But the guy I married wasn't ready. because, again, we were free, we were out, no mom and daddy to tell us what to do, we were adults. So he's still out there partying, and I was trying to raise a family. And because I had an addiction too, if you can't beat them, hey, see, I knew somebody could talk. All right, so I did. I went back to what I knew. And so I spent years in this cycle. I'd have a kid, I'd do good, I'd get back on it. I'd have a kid, I'd do good, I'd get back on it. I have 3 beautiful babies, and I'm thankful for them. But you know what I'm not thankful for? What I had to put them through. And so I lived that, and trying to think. I told you. So my ex was in the Hells Angels. And so not only was it drug use, but there was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of him going out cheating. There was all of that going on. My life was rough. And you remember the reason that we thought we were doing this was because we were free, but we were bound up. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Bound up. I was nowhere near free. I was broke down and I was miserable. And one day I prayed something that I had not done in quite a while. You know what I mean? Like when you're jacked up, you don't usually pray. So I knelt down to pray, and I asked God to take my life. I was like, Lord, just let me go to sleep and don't wake up. And I gave him all the reasons why that was the best thing to do. Do y'all ever try to convince God of like why this is good? Like, he's probably sitting up there going, girl, please. I mean, but I was telling him, you know, I am no good to no one. My children, I'm hurting them by my lifestyle. My husband don't want me. You know, all the reasons why I did not need to be here. I gave him every one of them. And I really believed that he was going to do this for me. And the next morning when I woke up, I was mad as a hornet. I'm like, really? Like, I finally pray to you and you can't do that? I was really mad. But what I did not realize in that moment was that God did not take my life like I wanted, but he took my life like he wanted. And I'll explain that to you because 1 week after praying that prayer, SLED raided my house. And I'm talking like full gear, the whole shooting shebang, because at that time he was cooking. And so they come up the driveway, and I'm holding my baby, okay, my youngest one. I'm holding her, and I had just made egg sandwiches for breakfast. And so they come up, and I'm like, she's got epilepsy. I was so afraid they were going to kick that door in and scare her and cause her to have a seizure. So I was trying to think of something to do to stop them to help her. You know what I'm saying? And so what I did is right as they were about to, I opened the door. And I looked at him, and y'all, his face was like, you know, if you'd have told me you was coming, I'd have fixed you a sandwich too. I mean, I don't even know, you know what I mean? And he looked at me like, this chick here really is on drugs. But, so he figured it out, though. As I looked at him, and I looked back at my child, and I looked back at him, tears rolling down my face. I said, sir, please let me get my baby out of here. Just let me call somebody. And this is the first time I know God was in it, because he said, okay. He said, ma'am, you let me clear the premises, and I'll let you call somebody. They didn't take my child. That was God. And so he does. I'm sitting out there in my little handcuffs, sitting beside him, and they're bringing stuff out and writing it down, tagging it and all that, bringing it out, writing down, tagging it. But the whole time they were doing that, he was talking to me as if I might be his sister. He was asking me, why are you living this way? Why do you stay here? Why this? Why, you know what I mean? Just like trying to talk to me and trying to, you know, there's a better way. He was being so nice to me. Now, there were some that were not, but he was, and I never forgot him. But I couldn't find him. When I got right, I couldn't find him. And we're going to talk about that. If I forget, tell me, okay? Because I often forget. But the thing is, it is crucial that we release all our hurts, our self-pity, our blame. We have to release all of that. We also have to take responsibility for us, even if it's someone else's fault in some situations, because the only person that we can control is us. And so while somebody else may be doing wrong, and that's fine, I can't change that, and it's hurting me, what I can do is change where I'm at, what I'm doing. And so that's what these verses are telling us, is that we have to do that. We have to change that. And so I wish I could tell you that as soon as he went to jail, I got right and praised the Lord. I did not. Because I was so used to living that way, I continued to live that way. Misery. And then, so in this, one day I met a guy. And such a sweet guy, and I didn't like him. I mean, I was like, why are you smiling? I mean, seriously, because I was used to mean men that didn't smile, didn't have fun, and this guy smiling. I'm like, you sketchy, you up to something. Why are you smiling? But I did. I met him, and he knew that I was in this lifestyle, but he was not. He drank, but he did not do the drugs that I did. And so one day I came to his house, and y'all can figure that out. And so I was like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And he said, come on in. You need to go to bed. He said, you driving like this, and you just need to lay down and sleep it off. And so I did. And when I woke up, he said everything he liked about me. He told me I had beautiful children. He told me all of that, everything. And then he said, but I'm not going to have this in my house. So leave and don't ever come back. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'm done. And so I did. And for like a week, I'm walking around talking about, that's his loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, But the thing is we have to open our eyes to what God's doing. And I was like, well, here I am, continuing to do the thing that I prayed God to take me out of. He took me out of that, but I'm keeping doing this. It didn't make sense. My brain finally was like, dude, hello. And I was like, I got to stop this. And I want you to hear Isaiah 60 verse 2 says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth and the people. And 61 says, to proclaim liberty to the captives and the opening of the prison to those who are bound. Here's the thing with those verses. Prison is not always just prison. It's not. It can be, what he has to do is he has to say, drop the scales off your eyes from your past, quit looking at life from your past, and look through it the clarity of my love. And I did. I was like, okay, so I want to give this a shot. I want to give this life a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it cannot be worse than what I had. And so I started working toward getting clean. A friend of mine at that time she comes to the house and she's like, hey, I'm going to AA. You want to go with me? No, I don't. Out there with all them alcoholics and stuff, right? But she just kept on, and I'm like, if I go, shut up, right? Okay, we'll go. And so I went, and that night was October 25th of 2011. That is the last time I ever used drugs. And so in all of this, like, as I started getting clean, it was hard, y'all. Like, it was hard, because I don't know if anybody in here has ever had to go through that, but you have to leave everything behind. You change your friends. You change where you at. You change what you do. You change everything. There's even family members that you have to cut off. And y'all tell me, you may not have done that, but tell me, it may give you a different outlook on an addict. But let me ask you, if somebody said you can no longer have brownies, no more brownies for you, and everything that they served at every meal was a brownie, and you knew you couldn't go to that meal, so that cuts your family out. Well, then your friends, they love brownies too, so I can't be around my friends because I can't have brownies, so I quit with my friends. My job, because of what it was like before, now that I'm getting clean, I don't need to stay there because they always got brownies too, so I'm leaving there. And if you get what I'm talking about is that when you quit doing drugs, you lose everything you knew. Everything. And so what happens with a lot of addicts is if that happens and they don't get involved in a church or a program or whatever, then they'll go back because they're alone. They're so alone. And so it's so important that we as the church say, I'm walking along beside you. I will be your contact. I will be your accountability partner. I will love you through it. If you're struggling, call me and say, I want some. But we need to walk along beside them. And that's what Brian did. That's my husband, by the way. And so, look, do you ever have somebody that you like really like and don't at the same time? Like, because y'all don't know that, y'all are married, every one of y'all. So, and what I mean by that is, like, he will call me out. He will tell me what's up. He will call me out. He will make me do right. And then he will say, and I love you. And I'm like, But the thing is if you don't have a man that wants you to be better, something ain't right. And he would push me to be better and want me to do better. And so in that, he said, we're going to church. And then he said, now y'all remember, Hell's Angel, biker, drug addict. And he says, we're going to First Baptist Church. I was like, I'm going to need you to pee in a cup because I think you done got on drugs. I mean, really? First Baptist Church. Y'all all know what I'm talking about. Like, I walk in there like, what's up, y'all? And let me tell you what's funny is the lawyer that I got in a fight with at a ball game, that's another story. But no lie, if you want to know that one, hit me up. I'll tell you. But he goes to that church. So I'm like, yeah, God got a sense of humor, right? But one of the best feelings is when he walked up to me and said to me, I am so proud of you. So that's the way God works. He makes you think, cray, and then he blesses you. But told you I was ADHD. I'll be everywhere. I'm just saying. So I told you that we had to open our eyes to what God is doing. The third thing that it says is that we need to look to the glory of our future in him. Through this process, we realize we have a new identity and that God has given us a new name. So this is what's funny, right? Michael Lee, that's my name. Michael Lee Ross. That was my maiden name. All boys' names. So I met this guy, right? And he's Brian Ashley. I was like, you're the one. I am finally getting a girl's name. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look, because now I'm in private, I was starting law enforcement, now I'm in private security. Everybody calls me Ashley. It's the greatest thing. It's so cool. But the thing is I had to open my heart to that. In 63, it says, the Gentiles shall come to your light and kings to the brightness of your rising. And what I need for y'all to understand is that we have to start looking to what God is going to do. And we have to become open to what God is trying to do in us. So when we started going to church, I told you I wasn't real crazy about that idea, but I did. I ended up one Sunday, I'll never forget. We sat in the back, by the way. You way back there in the last row. And at the end of the sermon, the preacher comes down. Can I walk down here? Will it make it go? It won't, will it? Okay. So the preacher comes down, right? And he starts doing the altar call. And they start playing the song. And I'm telling y'all, it was like fire underneath me. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't doing it. Like, I'm not going to. So I'm like literally holding on to the pew in front of me. Like, no. You know what I'm saying? And I swear, y'all, they played maybe 2 normally. I think they played that song like 10 times. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so finally, I couldn't hold on no more. I almost ran down the aisle. And I told the pastor, I was like, I want Jesus. I want nothing, I want him. If he loves me like that, and he wants me like that, and he would die for me like that, I want Jesus. And so that day I got saved. And then I got baptized on Easter of 2012. So, thank you. When I got saved, y'all, it was, I'd never been one to read. I'd never been one to do any of that. Like, I mean, really and truthfully, if you're strung out, your eyes don't focus. And so I couldn't have read if I wanted to. But when I got saved, I wanted to read my Bible. You know what I'm saying? And the reason that I did is this, and it's the best way I can explain it. You know when you meet a guy, most women, they meet a guy, and they decide they like the guy. They want to know everything about him. What he likes, what he don't like, what music he listens to, everything, right? And so I felt that way about Jesus. I was like, I want to know everything about him. I want to know what he did. I want to know what he liked, who his friends were. I want to know what he wants from me. Like, I want to know Jesus. You see what I'm saying? And so I started to know Jesus. You see what I'm saying? And so I started reading the Bible. And then while reading the Bible, I was like, dude, there's so much stuff. And I would jump here and there and yonder. And then people started saying, how about this book? How about, it was Joyce Meyer's book, something about the mind. Battlefield of the Mind, right? That was one of the first books I read. And so I started reading that. And then, y'all, I kid you not, I had stacks on my side of the bed of books and different Bibles, like, and so, like, and I would read, and I would have them in front of me on my bed, and I would just read and read and read and read. And so that's when I would journal my stuff. And a friend of mine that I worked with asked me one day, could she read those? And I was like, yeah, whatever. And she was like, oh my gosh. She said, you need to start going and sharing this at Faith Home, because those ladies could really use it. And so I did, and I felt called to ministry. And so that is what I'm doing right now. It's like, I know that I'm called to serve him. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what happened when I saved. I got called to ministry. I'm trying to make sure I ain't skipping nothing, because I will. And then the last thing that I want you to notice out of here is that we don't live pitiful, sad, broken, tarnished lives. When we are saved, we don't live that. Okay? And of many generations. And it says, they shall be called servants of God. And then in 61, 4 through 7, I think I just read that, didn't I? Yes, I did. No, so I'm going to read 60 instead. It says, lift up your eyes all around and see. Gather together to come to you. Your sons come from afar. Your daughters shall be nursed at your side. You shall see and become radiant. And your heart shall swell with joy, because the abundance of the sea shall be turned to you. The abundance of God will be on you. And so we have to take that in and live that out. Because a lot of times when we get saved or whatever, we're like, yeah, you know, we got saved. It's a great thing. I'm so joyful. Foundation. One with a foundation that is blessed, and with that comes joy. There's times in life I am struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, But the thing is now I can say to myself, he is still in control. He has still got your best interest at heart. And so you can make it through this because you know that. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to tell myself that in those times because I don't want Satan to steal my joy. I want to be joyful for the Lord. And it also says that we become a light of hope for others, pointing them to him. It says that they will come to you. If you are excited about God, others will be too. Look, you hollered because you got a gift, right? It was that timing, I'm just saying, like, sister. It was meant to, it was awesome. God. So, like, that excitement that you got, right? And you were like, whoa! And then everybody else was laughing and going on, right? Because your excitement boils over to others. And if we are excited about God, if we are like, dude, he is awesome. You know what I'm saying? And if we are living that out, others will want to know. And that's why they are drawn to us, what it says in these scriptures. They are drawn to us because it's his light pouring out. It's his love pouring out. So there's a verse, and I meant to look it up before I came so that I could tell you which one it was. But in that verse, it says, have you not heard? Do you not know? And I read it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, here's the thing. John 3:16 and 17. I love those verses. But majority of the time when someone says, will you please read John 3:16? Someone says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth is willing to send his unique and only Son for us, the rebel sinners. Whew. There is no need for us to be perishing in life or death because guess what? That wasn't his desire. He wanted us to live for him and in him freely. That's John 3:16 and 17. We always leave 17 off, and I'm telling you, it's powerful. It's a present possession of freedom and life. It's not waiting until later. And that's what those verses in 60 and 61 are telling us. We have this possession right now. God came for us to have this possession right now. This possession of freedom, this possession of joy, this possession of peace. He gave it all to us in that moment, and all we have to do is live it out. That's why he sent his Son. And so I ain't going to tell you, yeah, God sent his Son. I'm going to tell you, God sent his Son. Do you get me? Have that excitement. Tell these people, I'm telling you, look, they may not want to hear it. That's all right. That's all right. Because sooner or later, guess who they going to come to when there's something going on? They will, that aggravating woman, but she knows something, so I'm going to go talk to her for a second. I'm being serious, though. They do. Like, you're like, bro, you didn't even want to talk to me like 3 days ago. Yeah, but I got this problem. You know, and you're like, okay. Have you tried going to church? Have you tried prayer? Have you tried, you know what I'm saying? And you start talking to people. You know, he told us, he said, go out. Go out. All right, so let me ask you something. Do you go out to restaurants? Do you go out to the grocery store? Do you go out to the grocery store? If you go out to the grocery store, I bet you have to go out to get gas. Right? Y'all all looking at me like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. You feel me? All right, so when you go out to the grocery store, and I may be about to tell on myself, that's all right, that woman in that chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like road rage in the grocery store. So, like, but instead, when she comes up and there's something way up there, what if I went up and said, hey, is that the one you're here? Let me grab that for you, and handed it to her. And then said, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not talking about a little bit because I have to get in my husband's truck, but I'm talking about like way up there. You're like, bro, you know, and so you're looking at it. They paid a lot for them rims and tires. I'm just saying. Or you pull up and there's one of those cars is painted like an M&M. Nice car, bro. But you know what I'm saying? Like the two vehicles that you would not even think about driving. You know what I mean? Like I ain't driving that because I ain't trying to run over anyone else. So, but what if you walked up to that person and said to them, dude, who painted your car? That is a sweet paint job. I don't even see, like there's no lines. Is that a wrap? You see what I'm saying? And you just start talking to them. Just start talking to them about their car that you don't like. Because they spent a lot of money on it. And it's something they love. And you're complimenting it. And then they'll talk to you. And then you'll be like, you from around here? Oh, you are? Oh, you just moved here. Do you go to church? You just started a conversation about a car you don't even like. And you ended up sharing the gospel. You see what I'm saying? You ended up inviting somebody to church. It doesn't have to be anything other than you making a connection with that person, them knowing you care about them, and then are you holding on to something in your past that is hindering you? Are you? And I want you to think about it. Because normally, 9 times out of 10, we're sitting there thinking we ain't, and then we're like, yeah, actually, I'm mad at my sister from 2010. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something that's hindering you because unforgiveness hinders you. So is there something that you're holding on to from your past that is hindering? Are you open and available to his plans? Sometimes the hardest thing is stepping out into his plan. So are you available to his plans? Let me ask you this. Are you stuck in what was so you can't thoroughly accept what is? I've been there. And that ain't what they would come in and praise and worship. And that's what this is talking about. God is taking us and saying, I want to get rid of them ashes. I want to get rid of them hurts, the shame, whatever it is. And I want to give you a beautiful, meaningful, purposeful life. But we got to let go of the ashes. So, are you stuck in what was so that you can't thoroughly accept what is? Are you moving into the glory and wonder of his plan? Are you? The thing with Brian, to remind me, and you didn't, what you're doing with your life. But the thing is when we went into ministry, and I ended up, I got my seminary degree, and then I ended up getting my chaplaincy. And in that, the chief of police come up to me, who knew me well, and he said, he come in the church, and at that time I was working in the church. So he comes in the church, and I hear him say, because there was like a little office back here, I hear him say, is Michael Ashley here? You know what I'm saying? That was the chief man. And they were like, yeah, she's here. So I walked out there. He said, hey, I heard you, walked out there. He said, hey, I heard you was getting your chaplaincy. I said, yes, sir, I'm almost done with it. And he's like, would you want to come be a chaplain at the police department? I was like, yes, I would. Absolutely. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I get to go down and talk to homeless. If there's a bad thing going on, I'm out there with them. I'm getting to minister to the very people that I came from. You know what I'm saying? So I was all about it. And so then I started doing that. And then they said, you know what? We got an opening. Why don't you go to Academy? You can be here all the time and getting paid for it. No. But then my husband and I prayed about it, and we decided it was a good idea. We felt like that's what God wanted us to do. And so your drug addict friend, that's right, all of that became a police officer. Now, how funny is that crap? And so I was telling him about the cop. And the reason that I wanted to be an officer was because I wanted to be him one day to somebody else. And so I was describing him. I was like, I can remember him. I can remember him, but I've never been able to find him. And he's like, well, tell me what he looks like. So I told him, and he's like, hold up. Pulls him up. He's like, is this him? I was like, that's him. Y'all, this is years later. Years later. I was like, that's him. That's him. That's the one. Guess what his name was? Brian. Brian. So, he says, I said, I would just love to be able to thank him. So he shoots him, I think he shot his wife a message that said, hey, tell Brian to call me. And so his phone rings, and he says, hey, man, what you doing? Whatever. He's like, I got somebody that wants to talk to you. So I get on the phone, I'm like, hey, I bet you don't remember me, and that's fine, but I was the one that told you I'd fix you a sandwich. And he goes, oh, I remember you. I was sobbing, y'all. I was sobbing. And I told him, I said, I just want to say thank you. I said, that day that you raided my house was the best day of my life. And I said, because of you, I want to do what you're doing. And I want to be the one that sits on that table and tells somebody there's a better way. And he said, you don't get to hear that much. Thank you. And y'all, that was a beautiful moment. Because I got to thank somebody that God used. You know what I'm saying? And so when I tell you that you got to step in to the glory and wonder of his plan, you have to. And it's going to be weird. And because let me tell you something. And I'm over there like, you know. But here's the thing. I had to be willing to be uncomfortable in the weird so that the normal would become not normal and weird, and the uncomfortable would be comfortable. And did you follow that? Hey! You see what I'm saying, though? You have to allow yourself to be in that uncomfortable stage so that it becomes comfortable and what you knew becomes uncomfortable. And then you won't go back. So I asked you that, and let me ask you this. I just told y'all John 3:16. He really did send his son. He did. He sent him for every one of us. Every one of us. An old drug addict like me. He sent him. And then he died on the cross for me. So that all the stuff I did could be washed away. And then he rose in 3 days so that I could spend eternity with him. He defeated hell. He defeated Satan. And he set us free. And that's the gospel. All you got to do is believe that in your heart and accept it and confess to him that he is Lord of your life. And guess what? You are on a journey. A journey to beautiful. To beautiful. And so I guess what I'm trying to say to you is most importantly is, have you believed, confessed, and accepted him and his gift of love? You don't hear anything else I say. Don't leave here without doing it. I'll pray with you. I'll talk to you. If you ain't ready, but you want to talk about it a little bit, let's sit down. I know these ladies over here, Buckshot. I mean, that's a name. I'm sure that Buckshot would love to have a conversation with you. Please, come to know our Lord. Come to...
Energy and take some. I'm just saying. If I could just bebop like that, that'd be great. How many do we have? Oh, is that something on there? Maybe not. Okay. Ring a ding 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 ding. One little ticket, two little tickets. Okay, 554341. Sorry, what number are you? 316. 316. Give me 316. I'm gonna try that again. If I ask, then ye shall receive. Just kidding. 554282. Emily. Whoops. My bad. Five 54348. Five 54315. Sorry. My bad. I giggled and then I was like, dang it, it's off. It's not it. Where's it at? Five 54277. Okay, out at the front, we do have a table for a little gift for everybody. And then I would like, because we've had the best turnout this year, if we could all go to the front of the church, and then Jennifer's going to get a picture for our little Facebook page. Me. Yes, the Women's Center has a table up front. Go out there and just see the little goodies that they have and just see what they do have to offer. Oh, just kidding. Hold on, hold your horses. Hold on. Don't leave. I forgot. I heard her earlier. 554305. Yay! Okay. Thank y'all so much. Yes, if y'all will go to the front. Yes. Okay.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the good